Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Vox Markets for Tuesday, the 12th of October, starting off with Amur minerals, which haven't looked at for quite a while, but interesting here in terms of the price channel that you could draw from the beginning of the year. A couple of bounces, intraday bounces off the floor of the channel, around 1.8 pence, and just breaking that line of resistance from back in August around the, let's call it the 2 pence level. End of day or a weekly close above that particular line could take the shares up to retesting August peaks and the top of the channel as high as 2.8 pence, which is obviously the near-term resistance for the shares. Only an end-of-day close back below 1.8, really delaying the upside scenario. On to stock which has had a bit of a flurry today. Comes in the form of BlueRock diamonds, and here a gap to the upside. Looks like the shares have finally made a base just in the 40 to 45 pence area with a gap higher. Positive sign. We had one of those in August and the shares haven't fallen back below that particular feature. Be cautious on the shares, maybe wait for a break of that line of resistance from December at 54 pence. That could lead up to 70 pence by the end of next month, and the stop loss and end of day close or a weekly close back below, let's say 43 pence. On to Canadian overseas, which continues its recent dance either side of the 30 pence level. Now it's just about on the right side of 30 pence. Like Amur, we've had a few probes and tests there of the floor of the channel. So we've had a couple of tests, one last month and one to start this month, but holding that line from the summer of 2020 around 27.5 pence so far. Still want to see a break above the initial October resistance there at 32 pence. If you're fussy, maybe a weekly close above the 50-day moving average at 34 pence. But that's sort of where we are, buying on the dips, or at least a technical buy on dips down towards the floor of that channel at 27 pence. And looking for 32 pence plus to break over the near term. On to a stock which is starting to accelerate to the upside. I think I've looked at it a few times, but Empyrean starting to look better all the time. We've got this bull flag here, either side of the old peak there from back in July, just shy of 9 pence. Current view is that while we're above 8 pence, looking for the top of that channel there as high as 10 pence over the near term, hopefully before the end of this month. Through 10 pence, things get rather more exciting. One could say that we're then in a trajectory heading for this line here from back in February, and that would be a 13 to 14 pence target. So above 10 up to 13 to 14, and ideally holding the 8 pence zone on Empyrean. Onto a stock which I know has lots of fans. It was bugging me to look at the chart last week, and I think they were absolutely right. Good thing to do. We had a slight break to the upside, and I think I spotted that one there around the 1.2 pence area, something like that. But today's seen the definitive move, and we just now need to break or hold above that line of resistance from back in February, if I can get it to move. I would say we've already broken that. That's broken at around the 1.5 pence level, so above 1.5, looking for 2 to 2.5 pence. Hopefully by the end of this month, and certainly by the end of next month on GSTechnologies. On to a stock which has also thankfully started to move in a positive way, Hummingbird Resources. Gap through the 50-day moving average, and I suppose a bear trap from back below the old 16 pence support of last month. So near term, narrow bear traps 2-3 days below the level and then snapping back higher. Current view is that we should at least retest the old May resistance there up to 24 pence. After that, looking for a target here up towards this line of resistance, heading towards 28 pence. And that's valid while we hold above today's low and the top of the gap overnight, which is at 19 pence. Above 19, looking for 28 on Hummingbird Resources. Stock which I don't normally look at, but seems to be growing great guns on a fundamental perspective. It's something the company is very keen to tell us as well, is on the market, breaking that line of resistance from back in December, gapping higher off the lows as well, which is a positive. So above 94 pence, looking for a retest of June resistance through £1.10 for the shares. On to Brighton Pier, where we have continued improvement. The improvement within a rising trend channel from back in February. That's heading towards the 80 pence level, which was the target we had the last time I looked at the stock above 80, looking for 95, which is a steeper line of resistance from November, and that could be hit perhaps by the end of next month. At this stage, only really back below the old September resistance at 67 pence, really delaying or questioning the upside scenario. Moving along to Tern, which is the bears, I wouldn't say favourite, it's a sort of target, I suppose, really. But here we're looking rather strong in the sense that after the consolidation and the gap down that we had in July, just approaching that line of resistance from back in May at, let's call it 23 pence. End of day or a weekly close above that, and we can see the shares finally head towards the target that I've had here for quite some time, up towards 40 or even 45 pence. Seems slightly unlikely, but the shares have actually done well in the sense that they've had multiple support points there above the 200-day moving average, even after that gap. So that does suggest underlying strength for the stock, whatever the shorters may say. Onto a stock which I always sort of shudder when I see it on the risers list, but here we have UK Oil and Gas. The reason for that is that tends to be a placing not long after that, but hopefully that won't happen this time. Here we've got a break of that July resistance line there at 0.14. Above that, looking for a retest of the main 0.24 resistance area by way of that little gap at 0.22, the gap down from July. So initially 0.22, then 0.24 on UK Oil and Gas, while it holds above the 0.14 level. Finishing up with a stock which I've tweeted about a couple of times in the last 24 hours. Looks quite exciting in a way that, it looks exciting in the way that it did, I suppose, in April and then also in February as well. That February was the last time the shares broke back above their 50-day moving average, and obviously we had a decent rally after that, up towards 80 pence from below 10 pence, and hopefully we'll get something which is a repeat, or at least a partial repeat of that. 50-day line currently at 34 pence, above that on an end-of-day close basis, obviously initially 44, but we could see something a little better, perhaps up towards the 50 to 55 area, which was resistance on the way down. So above 35 or so, looking for 55 for Valereum, and ideally by the end of this month. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.